What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I am coming at you from just outside the Millennium Building at the Prime Inc. Terminal, Springfield, Missouri. Just wanted to stop in here and kind of touch base with people. Sorry if I haven't got to any comments, but this has been a very frustrating and emotionally draining past couple weeks or 10 days or however long it's been. So I just wanted to kind of come on here and vent a little bit and talk about some of the things that have been going on lately. First off, I want to say, if you're kind of coming into trucking right now, this winter right here is the kind of winter that I could see just breaking you. And I mean emotionally. So if you're in this or just coming into this, you're just gonna have to realize that this is not gonna be typical of what you're gonna be experiencing in the trucking industry. I mean, this winter has been almost emotionally defeating. And I'm gonna try to be as honest as I can about some of the frustrations lately and kind of what some of my thoughts were. This video might be short, it might be long. I'm just gonna kind of go through what's on my mind. But just from a trucking standpoint, this weather has just been downright demoralizing. There's winter's winter, right? A lot of times you might, I spent 5 months out last year. I think from like January to May or something like that. So I did almost all winter out on the road. And last winter I thought it was worse than the winter before. So maybe we're on a trend here. But it's like there's no escape this winter. Normally you might pick up a load in, let's say, Pennsylvania, and then you might be going to Kentucky, and it might be warm in Kentucky. And then you might go back to another area where there might be snow, but it's just not like you're living in the shit. And, man, I'm just telling you, it's been kind of hard to deal with, to be honest with you. I have almost been inventing ways to lose money out here. Whether it just be sitting because of weather or, people driving my truck, same thing. And I just keep telling them, do not try to outdrive yourself. And I do want to talk about, this video is going to be kind of all over the place. But one of the things I want to talk about that I thought was probably the smartest thing I've seen out of any company, and I think 2 companies have done it. I don't remember the second company or the first company, but JB Hunt, sometime last week when the entire country was getting hit by all this snow, they put out a message to all their drivers basically saying, we're shutting down all these states. And it was like a bunch of states, probably 12, 14 states, where they wanted you to shut down. And one thing I liked about that was it takes all the pressure off of you. At that point, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think. The decision's made for you. And I really would hope that that would be something that Prime would do. Because as we've seen, there's a lot of people that say, I'm experienced enough to drive in this weather or that weather or whatever, and all across the country last week there were trucks in ditches and in medians that all probably thought that they could, their experience level was going to be enough to get them through that weather. But let's just talk about some of the ways I've been just getting hammered. First of all, just the sitting. Like I said, that weather was crazy. Then, I had done some videos talking about some people gelling up and things like that. And I'm one to kind of over-treat my fuel a little bit, you know. But just the other day, I even had an issue where I actually had idled the majority of the night because it was like, I think, minus 18 degrees where I was at. And for some reason, I don't remember how he explained it, but I got 2 fuel tanks. There's something that goes between the 2 fuel tanks. While my fuel didn't gel, this little thing that goes between the 2 fuel tanks did. And basically I ran one of my fuel tanks empty while the other one was like 3/4 full. So that cost about $1,000 to get somebody out there to handle all that. So boom, there's that. And not only... So now I will definitely be overly treating my fuel. But, you know, the worst part about that is, you know, the APU was still working, right? The reefer was still working. I don't know what it was about this particular situation that made that happen in this truck. But waiting for that guy to get out there, you know, once I started opening up the truck and getting in and getting out, trying to figure out what's going on, that APU was not keeping up with that, you know, with as cold as it was out there. And I mean, I wouldn't say I was like concerned about freezing to death, but I was definitely a lot colder than what I felt was comfortable. So, you know, that hits me. And then, you know, one of my drivers, and there's really no way around this, and, you know, she gets a call from safety saying that somebody said that some ice came off of her trailer and cracked their windshield. So, boom, I got hit with a deductible on that. And I'm just glad they didn't say anything crazy like, you know, we need to be getting all the stuff off the trailers, because, I mean, in a real world, you know, that's easier said than done. You know, and then just the emotional, you know, just as much as, you know, you realize that the people that are driving with you are adults and things like that, it does, you do kind of take a little bit of ownership over, how can I explain it? When I know what they're going into and what they're going to have to be dealing with, it weighs on me, even though I'm not, you know, I'm dealing with my own issues, but a lot of times the issues that I know that they're going to be dealing with weigh heavily on me. So from an emotional standpoint, it's just been very draining. So that's kind of what's going on. Some of the, you know, just, and what happens, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, or just yesterday, is what happens is once you start getting in this mental mind frame, then everything that you're dealing with goes through that filter. So things that normally wouldn't irritate you start irritating you. You know, I was just at a washout the other day. Now, common sense, see, here's the thing. Sometimes company policy and common sense don't intersect. So I go get a washout. I forget where I was at. I think I was in Illinois. As a matter of fact, I was in Illinois at some Blue Beacon. I don't remember which one, but it was like super cold up there. You know, actually it wasn't. It was in, it was in Milwaukee. So I go up there, you know, get the washout. Prime's policy is to put the lock on your trailer and any empty trailer, you know. So, you know, that's what I was going to do. Well, I go out there, and I almost slip and break my ass just outside the wash bay. I was so fucking mad, I almost picked up my lock and threw it across the street, but I didn't do that. And I'm thinking, why am I worried about putting this lock on this damn trailer if I'm leaving right here, going right over here to pick up? you know. And then another instance happened where, you know, I've been driving through all this like cold ass weather and, you know, everything, and I get to a pickup in Waterloo, Iowa, and now I can't get my damn lock off the trailer. Same thing. Actually, that was probably the same. No, it wasn't the same run. But I just got a washout, drove like, where did I pick up at? Oh, that's right. So I dropped off in Illinois, went to that Blue Beacon in Granite City or Pontoon Beach or whatever it is. Was going to deadhead about 300 some miles to Waterloo, Iowa. Put the lock on the trailer and everything. Now, common sense should have told me, you know, when I'm at this truck stop 75 miles or 100 miles away from my pickup, you know, let me just get the lock off the trailer now, just in case it's frozen. I could deal with this now, but then I'm worried about, you know, people at Prime telling on me or whatever. So I just leave the lock on and I get up to Waterloo, Iowa, and then what do I get to do? Spend 30 minutes with a line of trucks starting behind me. Luckily, before the line started getting long is just when I got it off. And, you know, some of this stuff just needs to be more common sense than actually policy. So I don't know. We'll deal with that. But those weren't things that would typically like irritate me as much as they did, but just because everything has been so fucking complicated and so hard and so mentally draining, every little thing starts irritating me. And I'm sure irritating the majority of truck drivers out there. You know, it irritates me that we can't use all the technology that we have to let us know you know, I'm not even gonna get into that, but let me just say, if you've been dealing with this, you're not alone. You know, I'd like to think that, you know, I'm somewhat mentally strong and things like that, but this has been taking a beating on me. So you're not the only one. So anyway, very frustrating couple weeks. And I know that this video really isn't making all that much sense, but I'm up here in Springfield to I have somebody that's gonna be driving this truck. I'm gonna go back and get back into the old truck. I drove this truck around. Oh, that's another thing I need to talk about right after this. Some other frustrating shit that really pissed me off. But I'm gonna go back into the old truck. I've had a chance to drive this truck. I feel like a lot of times new trucks, you got to go through that break-in period. This truck seems to be I'm not sure that I'm gonna have to worry about that in this truck. So I'm gonna get back in the old truck and then just kind of go from there. Now, some shit that really pissed me off is you know, if you're familiar with these new Peterbilts, the front of them is like super low. They got that little front air dam on the front, and I'm at a receiver trying to back in. They had all this snow shoveled like right up in front of the dock. It was like it was one of our larger customers, but it was really only had like 3 docks in this particular area that I was going to be using. All the snow shoveled out in the front, really not leaving a bunch of room up front to get in. So I'm thinking it's a pile of snow. So when I'm trying to get in, I was just going to run up on the snow a little bit. Well, that snow was pretty much basically fucking ice. So I basically tore up the right front air dam section of it, which isn't that big of a deal. Easy to replace. I probably won't replace it since it's something that is easy to damage again, but just everything that can go wrong lately has been going wrong. I mean, I guess it could be worse. Could end up in a ditch, but shit, the winter's not over. Anybody can end up in a ditch right now, but it's just been one of those winters, I guess. So anyway, that's that. I just keep your head up. You know, just realize there's always more money to be made. Don't feel like you need to drive through something that you're not prepared to drive through just because you need to get a load in, or, you know, whatever. But that's about it. Just wanted to come on real quick and just share some of my frustration. More so, not because anybody is worried about my frustration, but maybe a lot of people that are out there don't feel like, or they might feel like they're the only one that's in that place emotionally right now. And I'm going to let you know that if you are dealing with it, I'm right there with you. Trust me. You know, even coming into the terminal last night was very frustrating. You know, I get up in here last night at about 8 p.m. You know, there's really not a line of trucks like it sometimes can get out here. But, you know, it's like at the grocery store. Whatever line, well, not that they do this anymore, but whatever cashier line you get into, that's the one that's going to take forever. So I got behind one line, or in one line. Then next thing I know, 2 other trucks pulling after me. Those trucks get in before me. Then I see they're about to start doing a whole bunch of work on this trailer. So I, you know, back out and go around and find another line to get in, and then wait out there for another 15, 20 minutes to get in, and then another 30 minutes inbound. So again, something that might irritate me normally, but was super frustrating. Just because of where I am mentally right now. Anyway, that's enough about that. I think I've bared my soul enough during this video, but I do appreciate you stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.